Hello everyone, today I will be going over some advanced tips in Baldur's Gate 3 that might not be completely obvious. Now I'm not going to go over some of the more basic skills you probably have already mastered, such as placing barrels or boxes on top of vent traps to prevent them from activating, or anything like that. One of the first things I will go over is some good uses for disguise self that may not be readily apparent. One such use is to reset an NPC's attitude back to neutral if you end up upsetting them. In this example, you can see this shopkeeper has a minus 15 attitude towards me. That is because I was attempted to unlock some things in her line of sight and go places I wasn't welcome. Well, by changing my look, I was able to reset that back to neutral, to 0. You can also use disguise self to talk to corpses of NPCs you've killed. Normally NPCs won't talk to you if you killed them, but putting on a disguise will allow you to ask them questions. Next up we have Elixirs. Now Elixirs I ignored for the better part of Act 1, not realizing a very important attribute of them, and that is that they last until long rest. There are some powerful elixirs out there, and it's very welcome to have a near permanent buff, at least until you decide to long rest, added to your character. Some of these elixirs include one that essentially gives you the enlarge effect, increasing your size and giving you some extra bonuses. There are many more out there. Give them a try, especially on your first run through the game where you aren't sure where the next conflict may come from. So that goes without saying, collect as many alchemical ingredients as you can and start crafting as many elixirs. They last until long rest. Go ahead and start applying. Next we have Surprise. Now Surprise isn't really explained too well in the game. There's like one little tooltip that pops up, but that's about it. So how Surprise works is that if you attack them first, like suddenly, and they're not expecting it, you will more than likely give them the surprise condition, which, having Surprise, skips their first round of combat, giving you an early edge to the fight. There are some locations in the game where you can't immediately rest after a fight, causing you to slog through a few combat encounters before the game gives you any relief. Next is to use Fog or the Darkness spell to conceal your characters. When I say conceal, I mean you can conceal your characters from many different situations, not just combat. Want to go into a place you're not welcome? Cast one of those spells and you can sneak in due to your characters being heavily obscured. Want to pick a chest in broad daylight? How about prevent range attacks on your characters? Fog and Darkness are some of the best utility spells out there. You have to be careful with Darkness, however, because many races have dark vision, and some people have Devil Sight, and so they'll be able to foil your plans. The next tip involves Silence. Now we've already seen how versatile Silence can be from early access, specifically on top of the goblin camp, so you can break down the wall in peace and not wake up the enemies right next to you. That's pretty much what everybody has done coming from early access, but there are many more uses for it. So not only can you cast it on spellcasters, which is the obvious use for it to prevent them from casting spells, but you can also use it to hide loud actions like breaking down walls, but you can also use it to prevent reinforcements from arriving. Want to ambush somebody you don't like? Cast Silence near them and start attacking. As long as others can't see you, you'll be fine. And that's it for today's video. If any of these tips were new to you or helped you out, hit that like button. If you want to see more Baldur's Gate content, consider subscribing. And with that, have a wonderful day.